Mayor Dan Malloy. You know, I come before you as in the exploratory phase of a campaign for governor. And as we examine the issues that confront this state, I keep coming back to a question. When did teachers and other public servants become the enemy? How did that happen? How did it happen that the people that for generations we look to connect one generation with another, to educate our young, to raise up our society, to make America the strongest democracy in the world, how did it come that the people in this room became the enemy? What is wrong with Connecticut that we can't get it right? Why are we more reliant on property taxes to pay for education than any other state in the nation? Who thinks that's a good idea? Why can't we assist communities to a larger extent in meeting their educational finance requirements? Why are we 13% less in state distribution of funds to local educational entities than the national average? These are serious questions that have been largely swept under the rug over the last 24 years. The reality is we need to build a new Connecticut. And on the front lines of building a new Connecticut that will last for generations to come, ultimately will be the people in our public school system. I know that. I have two sister-in-laws who are teachers. I have a sister-in-law as a school nurse. My mother herself was a school nurse and a union organizer because she understood that in numbers there was power. You know, I look also at this state and understand, why do we not have full-day kindergarten across the state? Why are we not a state that's actually leading and making sure that all of our children, regardless of their financial circumstances, have access to pre-kindergarten learning experiences as they do at Stanford? I look at the debate that takes place in this state and I wonder why we can't make a permanent commitment to making sure that all of our pensions are fully funded, that it doesn't become an issue from year to year or day to day, but ultimately we accept the system that gets the job done. I also wonder why in this state and in this time, with the kinds of challenges we have a governor who would supplant 14% of the ECS money with federal money coming to this state that we could use to build the greatest educational system in America. Why would anyone choose to take from you and from your children the possibility of an ever-increasing quality education? Why would we, as a state, seek to balance our budget on the backs of teachers and school administrators and the children within those buildings? We've got collectively to start asking ourselves in this room and across this state, do we really want what's best for our children? Because if we really want what's best for our children, we will understand that our children are our #1 priority. That we need to make the kind of commitment to them and to those who educate them, and to those who dedicate their lives to educating them, that they be taken care of while they're teaching and after they're teaching. And that's the kind of governor that we need in the state of Connecticut. I also want to say very clearly that there are other things that we could be doing in this state. I will appear on Thursday with some of your leadership advocating on behalf of a health care pooling bill to allow communities to buy insurance at less expensive costs so more money can go into the classroom, our children, and the educators. So what I really want to convey to you is that I understand the issues that you confront. As a member of a Board of Finance for 11 years and a Board of Education as an elected member for a year and last 14 years as mayor, I understand that we are losing ground. And we are losing ground because there has been a failure of leadership at the very highest echelons of state government. and to change that policy, to stop losing ground, to begin the process of making progress again. We need ultimately to change direction, and we need to choose leaders who are firmly committed to public education. You know, let me tell you one thing, and I'll get out of the way because I know Phil's getting nervous behind me. Let me tell you one thing about my family. My father went as far as the 8th grade when he had to leave. My father was born in 1912 when he had to leave school to be an apprentice to his father, and wasn't able to pursue his education until years later when he went back to something called, in those days, secretarial school, which would have been the equivalent of a business program. And my mother was able to graduate from Stamford High School in 1932 and ultimately went on and graduated from the Greenwich Hospital School of Nursing. Be a nurse all of her life. Ultimately, the last 20 years in which of her life in which I was growing up, she was a school nurse. Committed to making sure that children had equal access to education, that their physical impediments and their intellectual impediments and their emotional impediments would not prevent them from receiving the highest quality education that they could receive. But she also did that for someone in her household. I grew up with a fairly severe learning disability. I was born, at the time I was born, people didn't really talk about what it was. I couldn't button a shirt or tie a shoe until I was in the 5th grade. I still really can't process easily language from the oral form into the written form. It's a struggle every day of my life. But let me tell you, but for the public school teachers that I had at Franklin School, and Burdick School, and Stamford High, and West Hill High School, I would not be standing before you as a public servant. I would not have had the opportunity to be the first person to take the New York State, the Massachusetts, and the Connecticut essay portions of the bar exams orally who did not have a physical impediment. I would not be here today. I would not be standing with you. I would not understand the necessity of getting the job done.